Hello, Libra. Welcome to your November and December forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. I just want to start off by saying thank you so much for your patience. I've been going through some health challenges, particularly a really bad infection that was in my sinuses and my ears. And for about 4 weeks, I was on massive medication, which is why there's been a delay. So anyway, thank you for your patience. Apollo is taking a really nice nap behind us, so we're going to let him be while we get started on the channeled messages. In both dreams and meditation, I got some specific imagery around cellular structures. And the first thing that came through was the membrane that kind of holds the cell together. And as I was thinking about this, it has to do with boundaries and who we let into our energy bubble that we all have around us. And if you don't currently have a meditation practice, now is the great time to start. At the beginning and the end of the day, set aside some time to clear your energy and to clear your thoughts and to clear the air. Like if you need to say something, say something. If you need to do something, do something. What I saw was just basically some stuff that was getting in that didn't need to be there, and you have the ability to eject it. And that was message one. And we can also kind of tag onto this that it may be necessary to have a thicker skin this month if there's any constructive criticism or just criticism that comes your way. Or if people are just randomly saying things, don't let it occupy too much space in your energy. The other thing that I heard in my mind as I was looking at this was like mitochondria, which is kind of like the cellular powerhouse in our bodies. And I'm not a biologist, but I do remember that much. And I think this also has to do with your energy and your time management. So how are you spending your free time, your work time, and are you giving yourself enough time, one, to recharge, and two, to pursue things that give you a sense of liveliness and vitality and energy? Because if you're constantly doing things that just feel like they're a lot of work or it's heavy, we need to kind of like amp up the powerhouse. So engaging in things like sports, extracurricular activities, socializing, making sure that you're getting ample rest, that you're spending time with the people that you love. All of these things that make life rich in a different way, I think is really important. So a little bit of work-life balance, but also if you're feeling energetically tapped out, do an audit of how you're spending your time. Talk to someone too. If it could also be sort of like an emotional thing where you're processing a lot and it's weighing down heavily upon you. And then that kind of taps out your ability to be as creative as you normally would, and sort of like there's like two aces. So the cell is like an ace of pentacles, and it can divide and it can multiply. Mitochondria is kind of like an ace of wands. Without the energy, that ace of pentacles isn't going to go anywhere. So we've got to get your two aces, ace of wands, ace of pentacles, going in the right direction so that you can receive abundance and continue to have passion and excitement and energy to do the things that you want to do. Okay? Take a moment, if you will, and let's tune in here. See yourself under the rising sun. Allow the warmth and radiance from that rising sun to cascade all around your body, creating this cocoon of light. Within this cocoon of light, you are connected and protected, welcoming in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. There's our ace right there. For your catalyst, it's all around light activation. The card was reversed, but let's look at it in the upright position. It says, Sanat Kumara, light activation, shine your light. Your internal guidance is coming through loud and clear. Interestingly enough, if we look at the spread here, your karmic energy is what? The star, and a star shines. So this is about not holding back when it comes to your light, your vision, your purpose. And it may be difficult because of just fear of being seen. When we look at something that shines brightly, it is conspicuous. There is sometimes a little bit more scrutiny, a little bit more attention. And if you feel that you need to shy away from this, don't. This is your moment to step into the light. Just quickly orienting you to the spread. November is here, December is here. We have a bridge and a block, karma, destiny, and 2 takeaways. Let's go ahead and start with karma first. So, as I mentioned a few moments ago, this is your moment to step into the light and shine. One thing that's interesting, if we look at the traditional star, there's also this balance, newfound balance that's coming through. Part of this comes from allowing yourself to just be in the flow. When you are authentically aligned, things just happen a lot easier. And in this one, we can kind of see like it's smooth sailing, you're just relaxing, allowing things to be. It's also a lot more relaxing to just be yourself. So if there's been any person or environment in which you felt like you had to sort of like put on a facade, this is the time to show your true colors, and either they resonate or they don't. And know that that's okay. Sometimes people fall out of our lives because, the lessons have been learned. And when your frequency goes higher, they either meet that or they orbit in another direction. Raise your frequency, Libra. And I think that may be your title, because that's really what this is about. Don't lower it so you can meet other people. Let them meet you at that higher frequency. This represents visibility. It represents, again, spiritual awakening, success, maybe even a little bit more acclaim or scrutiny. But all of this comes with the fact that you're doing something that matters. So you've done the work. It's in the karma. So all you have to do right now is welcome it in and say, I'm ready. Let's do it. Let's raise the frequency. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look specifically at the month of November. And as I mentioned, I got this image of an ace coming through in the form of a cell. And here we go with the cell. So in the past energy, you have an Ace of Pentacles. It's something that's ready to multiply, because that's what an ace can do. It's going to expand. All that's required with aces is follow through. So just like this person is holding that ace, there's something in your life where you can say, you know what? I believe in this. I'm ready. Do you believe in it too? So we're combining the energy of the star, and we're basically it's another form of a star, right? Just saying, this is what I want to breathe my life, my energy, and my focus into in this moment in time. There could be money or a new job or a new love interest coming into your life as well, because this can be someone extending their hand towards you saying, I believe in you. I'd like to hire you. I'd like to be with you. It's a good energy to come through for November. Being that we're already in the throes of this, no matter where you're at mentally, I really want you to get into the mind think of, I should say the mind space of just knowing that you can do this. It's here and it's here. Karma and then the recent past here. So you can do it if you're ready. Aces work in multiple ways. So that hand can be offering, taking, or receiving, or requesting. So if you need something, ask. If you want something, articulate it. If you're ready to deliver something, do it. There is an action that's necessary and a little bit of confidence that I want you to sort of embody here. Again, with the cellular membrane, what I was talking about here was having proper limits and boundaries so that people don't get into your mind, your energy, your space, and take away from the value that is intrinsic to this particular ace. Definitely get a stronger handle on your budget, your money, and your self-worth. That's the focus going into November. Exactly when this video is published, you should already be in the throes of that. In fact, as we look at the present energy, taking us from the middle to the end of this month, what we have here is Six of Swords. Things should start to move quickly. This is a month during which you might just like blink your eyes and you're already done. So take a moment each day to be fully present, to be very specific in your goals of what you're trying to do. So have a vision, have a purpose, follow through, and know that the action and reaction phase is going to be much faster than usual. So this is also a great month to travel if you need to for business work or just to recalibrate, to set things into motion, because this represents something going out into the world. Both of these represent, hey, are you interested? Sending it out there. And this is the actual sort of like letter or email or voice message going out into the world, or you physically traveling. All of these things may be happening in this moment. I think you might also be at a pivot in your life, in your career, in your just general direction, where something once was enough, but now you want more, or you're just ready to go all in and embrace the star. So this the Six of Swords could be heading towards the rising sun here in the distance. So I feel like even if you're in a very difficult moment right now, things are about to shift significantly. In the sort of general theme of mourning, this one is the point where you're moving on, this and judgment. So if you set your mind to this sort of idea that things can only improve, they can only get better, and I'm ready for that improvement, I feel like that's the key to success this month. And speaking of success, as we look at the end of the month and what it's all kind of about here, until we get to the takeaway, what I see for you is Seven of Wands, which is right after success. And this is about the time and energy management, because when there's more things coming towards you, you often have to push back, say no, delegate, work smarter. We see this person not so much in the defensive stance as it normally is, but they're standing up and just saying, this is what I believe in. And it's sort of like take it or leave it, which I like. So with confidence, with clarity, and without feeling the need to get defensive or overly articulate why, you can simply say no to what you don't want and yes to what you do. And make sure that you're giving yourself enough time for rest, for recalibration, for focusing on things that matter, and making time in your schedule for meditation and spiritual development. All of these things are going to help you continue to have enough energy to multitask, and the Seven of Wands is a very adept multitasker. Now, the takeaway this month is the Magician, and you really can't ask for much of a better card in any given month. What you want to focus on with the Magician is not to overdo it. So when the Magician is reversed here, there are a couple things that can happen. A lack of focus or a lack of faith. And in this particular illustration, maybe burning the candle at both ends. If you're doing too much all the time, you never have enough time to get some perspective and maybe come up with new ideas. Give yourself the time and space to imagine. If you don't believe in yourself, it's very hard for anyone else to. So really start to work on that self-confidence. And again, know that the cards don't lie here. In the past, you have the star. I'm sorry, this is karma. So you have already set it into motion. The star is basically saying on a soul level, you showed up for this moment in time. The Magician is going to help you channel and arrive at the right place at the right time, provided that you believe in yourself. If there's anyone in your life that is coming through as inauthentic or not what they are supposed to be, and we see one of those over here, you will see through it. Trust your instincts. The only time that the Magician ends up in a situation that they shouldn't is when they don't listen to their instincts, okay? Let's see what bridges the 2 months together. So in the connection area, we have the Queen of Cups, and she is reversed. Interestingly enough, if you look at the crown here, there's almost like this hand that is grabbing the crown, or the crown chakra. I feel like one of the things that you might be needing to do is to release or somehow separate yourself from either an environment or a person in that environment that is just dealing with a lot. So this is where the boundaries come in really, importantly here. So make sure that if there's someone that's dealing with a lot and you've done as much as you can, that you say no, that you have boundaries. You just may also be very sensitive, and that's not a bad thing, because with the sensitivity comes the ability to also have intuitive downloads. So the Magician is showing that you're tapped into source, but when you're emotionally and energetically exhausted, it's more difficult to figure out what to do with this. Create a structure in your life, exercise, sleep, and extracurricular activities that provide an outlet for the emotions that you might be dealing with. Talk to someone if you need to. And then also just get things down on paper. Because sometimes we get so emotionally worried about something, fear could be coming into the picture, that we don't take the necessary steps. So put this on paper, sleep on it, like not the paper, but like sleep on your idea. And then the next day, just take it one step at a time, one breath at a time, because I feel like there's an unnecessary heaviness here that's setting in. Ultimately, if we can get her in the upright position, she is Queen of Receptivity. She welcomes in love, abundance, and opportunity in the highest forms. And we want that for you, Libra, in this month. So allow yourself to get out of the way of worry, fear, doubt, and instead into the energy of the star, which is saying, yeah, I came here for this. I mean, you have multiple star energies. The ace is a star too. It's just channeling that higher star into one focal point. Okay? So emotions are connecting the 2 months, but it's a heavier or more attached emotion, and we want to get a little bit detached and a little bit clearer. So even though that's the connection, it kind of reads a bit as a block, but your specific block here is the Empress. So a couple of interesting things here. Some of you may be used to someone else in your life setting the stage, setting the tone, giving you the yes or no. So this is a reminder that you are the source, you are capable, you can set this into motion. There could also just be a general fear of speaking up or stepping into that authority figure role, but you can do this. If there is a gatekeeper, using emotions can help. So they may be someone who you can get excited about something and that can get them over their own fear or anxiety. So use positivity, use engaging sort of like presentations to get someone, or maybe even like pointing to real life examples to get them away from being stuck, because there could be a little bit of that rigidity. But ultimately, the block is not bad. I think it's just a matter of stepping into that light and embracing it. So emotions are reading a little bit more as the block. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself, because this could kind of ease into the next month. Speaking of the next month, let's take a look at the energy of December. Kicking things off, looking at what you've been working up to in the past position for December, we have one of the most powerful cards in the major arcana. It's the penultimate, second to last card, and it's Judgment. Judgment can represent a decision that you've made or that you're being asked to make. And that's why as we enter into this month, it's important to have that ace that we talked about in November figured out. Know what you want, maybe even take a step towards this. And this could just be someone saying, are you sure? Are you ready? And if so, things happen very quickly because the world follows. This can also be someone delivering an announcement or decision to you. The interesting thing with this, and we'll break it down more in a moment, is this could be something that you don't agree with because we have the devil here. And then you have to decide, am I in or am I out? And if I'm out, how am I going to pivot and move into the next thing? So there are things that you can control, there are things that you can't, and Judgment really is asking you to focus on how you feel about that. So an example of Judgment in a larger context, this could be, for instance, if you're in a company, there could be a closure, a merger, a new boss, something big, changing the structure of it. There could be someone in your life that is announcing a change of focus, of something that they're working on with themselves. It's their decision, not yours, but you're affected because you're in the periphery. So you have to decide how you want to react to it. You can't change what they've done or change the announcement, but you can change your reaction. You can either be stressed, or you can be engaged, or you can move on. And the universe is basically asking you, how do you want to react? Some of you may also be getting used to something new. So in the previous month, this can represent moving, and this is the dust settling. So as you start to get into something new, there is a moment where you wake up one day and you're like, wow, this is happening, or I just did this, right? If I think back to my undergraduate, like when I was in college, first semester, I remember the first day, my parents dropped me off. I was sitting in the room. My roommate hadn't showed up yet. And I was like, wow, okay, this is it. We're starting something new. I'm no longer at home. We're paying money for this. I better do a good job. So there was this realization that it was real. If you've ever moved, you know that last moment when you look at your house, whether it's an apartment, a house, or wherever you've been staying, you look over your shoulder and you're like, all right, I'm closing the door literally on this chapter. So first days, last days, big moments. If you're sitting there and you're standing there and you're exchanging the rings and the vows, and then you're like, did we just do this? So this is that moment. And you might be having one of those moments too. So a first or a last, someone else announcing something that you don't have control over, or you needing to make a big decision. Judgment isn't small, but it can be very exciting, and it typically changes your life for the better. It's just a matter of getting on board. So Libra, are you ready to get on board? There's no wrong answer here, because the Fool can represent taking the first step, but it can also be a decision to move in a new direction. So as we look at the present, it is reversed here. So this could be you saying, I need to take a step back before I decide. Fair enough. This could be you returning to something that you didn't finish. You may be looking at this because we're in a retrograde period and saying, I want to go back. I want to go back and do this. I have a goal. I have a dream. I have a vision. I want to take a step back and deal with that now. Generally speaking, the Fool is one step at a time, and a reversed Fool can sometimes be worried too much about doing it all at once. Take it in small bites, take it in small steps. This is also about taking a calculated move. So if you need a moment or two to plan, by all means, do that. You don't want to jump, headfirst into something when you don't know what you're getting into. So research, give yourself time. I would even pair this up with like 8 of Cups. So a break, a hiatus, a little bit of distance, and then you can decide, am I in or am I out? Some of you are ready to move on to something new. And oftentimes, if we don't do it on our own, the universe will provide different mechanisms to get us moving. So sometimes it's an external decision. Someone else decided for you. This is a gentler one versus the Tower. So the Tower is massive, it's fast, you have to act immediately. Judgment, you have a little bit more time to calibrate or recalibrate, and then you get to decide to strategically move in a direction. You probably had an instinct or an inkling that things were coming, and if you take advantage of that timing, you'll be able to land on your feet. Let's take a look at what's going on in the near future. We have a really interesting version of the 4 of Cups here. One thing that I like that is consistent with the traditional card is, you'll notice in Rider-Waite-Smith, we have an ace floating in, and the expression on this person's face says it all. He is fixated on something else. An opportunity is knocking, but he's not necessarily paying attention to it because there was an expectation. I thought it would be different. I thought it would be a different time. I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I want it. All of these thoughts could be clouding what is really showing up as a third hidden ace, because I saw the visual ace of Wands in the mitochondrial. I have the card here, the Ace of Pentacles aligning to the cellular one. Now we have an Ace of Cups that's kind of floating in the 4 of Cups. So you have a lot of things moving around you, even if they're not all showing up in the cards. I read intuitively and I kind of blend in the all of my sort of intuitive visuals. So I see multiple options in front of you. If you stay fixated with horse blinders on, things don't move in the way that they need to move. So it's important to look around and open up to different things. Yeah, maybe the timing isn't what you wanted. Maybe the resources aren't there. But you might, where there's a will, there's a way. And if you are clear on your vision, you can actually work your magic and make this happen. So embrace a hidden blessing. Look at the silver lining. Things could be working in ways that you don't yet understand, and that is powerful. If we look now at the takeaway for this month, partnership is the key to success. So we have 2 of Cups, but reversed. Some of you may have a difficult time reaching out for help or support, but this is a good time to do it, especially with Judgment, the Fool, and this 4 of Cups. That external perspective can help you see it, can help you see this hidden blessing. Someone else can come in with a reality check and say, wait a second, have you thought about this? Go to someone who you can trust, who really tells you how it is, not someone who sugarcoats. There may be an unexpected ally that steps in, unexpected love. If there's something where you don't feel the same, then you can say no. If it's something where it's not reciprocated. But if it's just a happy surprise and there's a new friend, a new connection, a new colleague that comes in and has something to offer, the resistance here is in maybe not letting them in. And I think this could be a good space where it's good to open up. And also here, it's maybe just something that's missing from your life right now, which is that connection with people that you love. So spend more time cultivating those relationships. All right, now let's take a look at Destiny. This is one of the best devil cards, actually. The reason I like it so much is we see someone finally deciding enough is enough. They can walk away from the devil. That's one interpretation. Saying, I'm not going to give in to temptation. I'm not going to lower my frequency to try to make someone else happy or lower my standards or my morals. I'm also going to be, he's stepping into the light in this particular illustration. I'm going to go towards the star. I'm going to move towards integrity, towards authenticity. I value myself enough to not accept the offer that might be here. So that's one read of this. You can take the high road. This can also represent someone that shows up in one way, but you see through it. You're like, that is a facade. You're trying to show up as someone that I can trust, but your actions speak louder than words. You don't follow through. There's a lack of integrity. So in your own life, the encouragement is to walk towards the path of light and, again, authenticity. And if someone shows up and embodies this energy, and really that's who they are, then you have to see them for who they are and say, thank goodness I know now. I need to move beyond this. So creating that divide, that sort of cellular wall that I was seeing earlier is really important. When it comes to contracts in your life, make sure that you negotiate them to a place where you feel like it's even. If there's someone in your life that consistently fails and falls short, now is the time to move in a new direction. And finally, and most importantly, this has to do with your own thoughts. If you limit the potential of something before it materializes, then that energy wins. So give things a chance to grow and move and achieve their highest possibility. If you limit your thoughts in this way, like, I have bad luck with whatever it is, whether it's love, relationships, jobs, or whatever, and you say that out loud, you're reinforcing a shadow energy that doesn't need to be there. Instead, say, I am ready for a breakthrough. I have changed, because judgment is reinvention, renewal, and rebirth. I've changed and I'm ready for something better. The devil doesn't like that because it's brave, because it's honest, because it's positive. And whenever you see this energy, it's important to engage with that, okay? Don't accept anything less than your worth. Let's go ahead and expand this to take a look at health, wealth, and love. Just make a little bit more room here so we can look at all those cards. Health, wealth, and love. All right, we'll start off first with the energy of health, which is mind, body, and spirit. And in the energy of health, we have the Eight of Wands, which is actually a pretty auspicious card. So once you set things into motion, progress is going to come through. It's just a matter of deciding, because I think the biggest challenge over this 2-month period is just saying, I'm going to do this and stick with it. Accountability is the key to success. All right, let's take a look at this from a holistic view. We'll focus a little bit first on November. So actually, November is probably the easier of the 2 months for you. One of the things that I see that could really help is a change of environment. So if you have the capacity to take a trip or a vacation, this would be very good. Just stepping back, we have the same energy movement in the present for both November and December. So getting perspective, taking a step back, getting that bird's eye view is really, really important in both months. The star card is really good for health overall. This shows that if you've had a challenge, at least November is looking really, really good. The one thing with the Magician and the Ace of Pentacles, it could just be around, for those of you that might be taking a lot of vitamins or medication, just make sure that there's no interactions on that. The Magician also speaks to the importance of Eastern approaches towards health and well-being, so meditation, massage therapy, and also healing, taking care of yourself in that perspective, not just the traditional exercise and diet, which is still a part of the picture, but lean a little bit more into meditation, spiritual, and Eastern medical and meditation sort of techniques here. If you start something new, pace yourself. With the Seven of Wands, sometimes what happens is you can pull a muscle or push yourself a little bit too far, too fast. So pacing is everything. I think if you focus on one thing, one area where you want to see the most improvement, this ace will come to fruition. It's a really good month. Set your goal on one thing and know that you can make it happen. December is the trickier of the 2 months. You might be a little less active, possibly because of the weather or the shorter days, depending on your hemisphere and where you're located. Try to keep moving. That's one thing that I see here. You may need to get a second opinion on something. If someone isn't listening to you, make sure that you have someone that truly trusts and is your advocate, trusts you and listens to you and tells you the truth. So you might need a second opinion. This would be a great time to work with a therapist, a coach, a counselor. There could be a temptation in this period of time where either it's an influence or an old habit. We want to keep the devil at bay. That's something that you've already seen. You've been there, you've done that, and you know it's not exactly what you want. Things are going to be potentially better than you anticipate. There might be a challenge, a setback, a wake-up call. Judgment can be a wake-up call, but you can overcome it. There's a way. So lean into, all right, maybe I didn't make the best decision here. I'm going to take a step back, get perspective, get support, move forward, find the silver lining, and not give in to self-sabotage and telling myself that I'm a bad person just because I made one mistake. don't be so hard on yourself. But please avoid temptations, whether it's a substance, a person, a toxic environment, anything of that nature. Now is the time to really prioritize your health and well-being. All right, let's take a look now at wealth. All right, Libra, many of you are dealing with a lot of stress. There's a lot on your plate. 9 of Swords is oftentimes mentally more difficult than it needs to be because we put undue stress or pressure on ourselves. We could be afraid of failure. We could be thinking about all the different things someone might say or do before they've even had a chance to do it. So don't make a mountain out of a molehill. If you need to lean on the support of others, this is the time to do so. And more importantly, you might just need to take a step back for perspective. I like this card because it's not as bad as it seems. It feels intense in the moment, but you can oftentimes look back 2 or 3 days later and think, wow, I was freaking out over nothing. Have you ever had to, if you've ever had to quit a job, you know what I'm talking about, or break up with someone, or tell someone bad news? You can go through it 5 or 10 times in your head. From my own perspective, most of the times that I have the conversation, the person already kind of anticipates it, or it's not as bad as I thought. So usually we're our own worst critic. And this is reminding you, get some sleep. The more sleep you have, the better. Tomorrow is a new day. And on some levels, do what you can and then just let it go. You'll wing it in the moment. You can have a script, but you're not going to read from it when you're talking to someone. It's going to change. They're going to have different reactions. So let it go. I feel like there's too much buildup, and you need to be more in the flow and more in this sort of lighter energy of the star. And one of the things that the star can do is also balance things out. So in that moment, regulate how you feel, see how that person feels if there's a conversation, and just go with the flow, okay? And tomorrow is a new day. Oftentimes, if it's been like, it feels like the worst day, I'm like, well, thank God it's almost over. The sooner I close my eyes, the sooner this day can end and tomorrow can begin. It can only go up. So that's another way to reset it. And trust me, it will help. If you need to meditate, do that. When I have insomnia, I just close my eyes and I breathe. And if I need to listen to music or white noise or guided meditation or just focus on the breath, that takes me away. And usually in 10 or 15 minutes, I'm tired and I go to sleep. The breathing can be the thing that frees you from the thoughts. All right, breaking this down into a few categories. Let's look at those of you that are employed first. First of all, I feel like right now, when you're looking at this reading, it's a really an amazing month because you may be in a really good position to launch something new, literally with the Ace and the 6 of Swords, and there might be a lot more opportunities coming in your general vicinity. So this is a time to be active, to trust in yourself, not to overthink, not to stress out, just to take it each day one step at a time. The work that you've been doing is also drawing attention to you and could be inviting in this Ace here. Travel may be necessary. Don't be afraid to meet someone, whether it's across town or across the world. This could open up a new door for you. The Magician, focus and faith. Have clear focus on what it is that you want to do, and it can just be one major goal, and have faith that you have the ability to see it through to fruition. Ultimately, a very powerful month. November's great. Your emotions are running high, but you are set up for success, so we just want to get you out of that heavy energy, and having outlets is going to be important. December is the trickier month for many of you. You might have to move faster than you want to. It's happening now, so I get this sort of imminent energy. And if the Devil is also an attached card, so sometimes we're attached to things that are traditional, things that are predictable, even if they're not giving us what we need. It is okay to move in a new direction. If you don't like what you're doing, December is the moment where you either have the epiphany, the decision, I want to do something else, and you strategize, or maybe you just have to take action in December. Work with someone that you trust and look for a hidden gem. Look for something that may be right under your nose, but you're not paying attention to. Talking to someone else will help. Overall, the energy is good. What you want to avoid during this period is gossip. You want to avoid getting pulled into doing something that isn't right, whether it's legally not right or it energetically doesn't feel right. Take the high road. Be honest, be transparent, and walk away from this if you have to. That can include quitting, or talking to someone to get some support and say, I don't want to do this. And if you need to fight for what's right, you can do that too. The devil is not usually something that is legally right. So if you need to fight and create a case, judgment in the upright position tells me you've got a case. But for everyone else, this is about not second guessing yourself, getting some time and distance from something before stepping into it, but it feels like you're on the precipice of going in a new direction. So plan it out. Get excited about it. There could be some really good things. Avoid limiting thoughts and ideas. Otherwise, things look manageable. For those of you that are entrepreneurs, I love the energy of November for you. A great time to launch a new product or a new idea. You might have more orders and more business than you can manage, so make sure that you're not overcommitting. As we look at December, interestingly enough, you may have to push a launch out a little bit. Don't do something until all of the stars are aligned, until you have the resources, until you have the research, and until you're ready. So if something's half-baked, this also goes for those who have a job, just stand your ground and say, no, we're not ready yet. We need to finish one more thing. And as long as you avoid this, which again is pushing something out that isn't quite done or not being honest with yourself or with other people, you're going to be okay because the rest of this is very, very good. Avoid temptation, don't take shortcuts, and do everything by the letter of the law. Particularly if you're an entrepreneur, make sure those taxes have been paid, make sure that you've done all the legal sort of like legwork before putting something out there into the public. You've tested everything, no shortcuts. That's really what I get for entrepreneurs. If you're seeking employment, November's the better month. You literally could land something, but it may require either travel or relocation. I'm just seeing one thing coming through, but that's enough. It only takes one. The Star card and the Magician, also very good. It just shows that you're in a very good light in this month to make it happen. A little bit trickier as we go into December. For some of you, it's just a little bit more difficult to make the connection. And I like what I get here rather than here. There might be something that comes forward where when you look at the fine print, you don't like it, or they say that they're ready, but they're not ready, so they kind of like string you along a little bit. So pay attention. Integrity is everything, and this interview process really tells you a lot about who you might be working with and how they conduct business. So if you don't like it at that stage, walk away. Again, travel and moving beyond your geographical borders, very much encouraged here. You might also be deciding to pivot in your career trajectory. I want to try something else because this isn't satisfying because I have another calling. You're rising to the occasion and deciding to reinvent, recalibrate, and kind of like do something completely different, and that could be really good. In order to do that, you might need a little bit more training, education, or a move to get to the right place at the right time. So take a moment, take a deep breath, but based on this, if you're not seeing what you want, it could be a good time to pivot, okay? For those of you that are students, again, loving the energy of November overall. I feel like you're pretty engaged with what you're doing right now with the Ace of Pentacles. Things go quickly in this month. Pace yourself, take time to enjoy and be present. And then as we're looking at December, avoid the temptation of like slacking off a little bit if that's happening. There may be a decision here also to move in a new direction, to pivot. You might want to change your minor or major. You may be deciding to change schools, a big change, big decision. Or you might just be graduating. Some of you December graduates, this is about this fear of the unknown, because that's all this can sometimes represent. In this situation, work with a counselor. One of the ways that I landed one of my first jobs was working with the dean of the school that I was at, and he just picked up the phone and helped make a connection. I was like, well, thank you. I didn't know that that was even possible. He's like, yeah, I'll help you with this. The rest is up to you. And that set into motion, a lot of other opportunities. So ask for help. Work with existing alumni, other students that might have already graduated, any professional organizations. This can help you overcome this, which is really just fear and uncertainty. And it is a weird world in which many of you are graduating in, and you need the support of other people to break through it. So don't be afraid to lean on that. Okay, let's look at retirees. Retirees. Travel is coming through in both months. I love it. Deepening of your spiritual and your creative energies, actually. A lot going on in November. Drink it in. Have some fun. Do as much as you want to. Slow down a little bit in December. You are not obligated to say yes to everything. If there's a person in your life that drains you, because I was getting that Ace of Wands reversed or that mitochondrial energy where I felt you were tapped out, say no. This is a person that you really don't need to have in your trajectory anymore. You may need more space for yourself. It feels like this is a hermiting month for you. This is social, a little bit of hermiting. Maybe there's one or two people that you're spending time with, but a lot of energy on your own to recalibrate and decide what matters most, okay? Now let's move on to love and relationships. We have the Chariot card. The Chariot is reversed. And it could be challenging this month to get on the same page at the same time with your partner because you might want very different things. And this is just an opportunity to maybe meet in the middle or take turns. There can't be two drivers at once. So you're trying to find that in-between ground where both of you can thrive. Let's break this down into 3 categories. If you're partnered, here's what I see that is very beneficial. It feels like there's a deep soul connection. The thing that might be lacking in this month, particularly in November, is the mutual spark. Both of you are putting your energy in such a wide net and maybe are working or even like separated by geography that it's difficult to have that sense of, I see you, I appreciate you, I cherish you, all that we would see with these 2 cards. I feel like that's there. As long as that's there, all you have to do is kind of like get in the right place at the right time, make time for each other. If the spark is missing, though, this is a reality check. Sometimes we just grow in a new direction. So if the other person isn't willing to put in the work, that's a bigger issue. If it's just a matter of logistics, the 2 of you can work it out together. Here are some things that kind of bridge you into December. First of all, decision time. If you're partnered, maybe you haven't decided to get married. Maybe you are trying to decide, do I want to expand the family? And what you're trying to see is if you're in the same swim lane at the same time. Like, are we doing this together or are we divergent? So get some space, get some time, give them time because you don't want to force this. And, ultimately, this is just destiny, and destiny can be transmuted. The outcome is actually okay. It's just compromise. Okay, well, I was hoping to do this time, but I think I can do this there. It's meeting in the middle. If the compromise feels good for the 2 of you, I feel like you can sort it out, and we have a happy ending here. So it's just about these 2 takeaways coming together. Mutual spark, mutual appreciation, because right now, both of you are wanting or needing something. The thing that's missing here is communication. We have swords, but we don't have like the communicative swords cards, like the king or queen or even a page. So we do have I feel like this could represent the 2 of you because they're both strong energies here, and they're almost even. Whenever you have like the queen, the empress, and one of the queens and the minors, it shows that the 2 of you may have a very specific way of doing anything, and it's just about trying to find where the blending of the 2 can be together. So communicate. That's what I'm getting with this, and let them know how you feel. Appreciation, kindness, and love goes a long way. All right, if you are single and looking, can you find love? Yes, you can. In fact, November looks like it's a great time to do so. This may be someone from outside of your current circle, so be open to that. Also, travel can bring them into your life, or business. You might meet them just while you're out and about. The spark is either there or it isn't. If it isn't there at the beginning, it probably never will be, so be honest with yourself and be honest with them. Are you ready for love? Because the Queen of Cups in reverse needs to take care of herself first. Some of you are very keen on finding a partner that's ready to get serious. The Empress card at the very least wants a spouse, but may also want a family. So if that's something that you want, make sure that that's communicated. If it's not, you might be calling in someone that wants that, so think that through. December, I think, is a little bit more of an internal growth month for you. And if you do meet someone, could be a Capricorn, but ultimately I feel like you may not be able to give each other what you want. One person wants more freedom, one wants more commitment. There definitely is a spark, but I feel like there's something missing here as far as like future goals. So it's more of a short-term thing, where this feels much deeper. And by the way, the star can be an Aquarius. So there may be an Aquarius, there may be quick movement, and it gets serious quickly. This one, it feels like you both want some different things, and it's just maybe missing from the get-go. So pace yourself and be honest with how you feel. The spark is there or it isn't. Pay attention to that, okay? Finally, if you are single and happy, good for you. I think this is an ideal time to be single and happy. If you are, what I see right now is the ability to really focus on launching something, a project, an idea, and it is very good, very exciting with all of this. Don't sleep on November. There's a lot that can be done during this period. In December, it feels like there's some other things taking you out of this productive flow, maybe a move, a new life decision, new life turn. The first part of the month is going to be a little bit chaotic. And then in the middle, you can get some stuff done. And towards the end, just give yourself a break. I feel like this month isn't as productive, but one thing that you can focus on is healing and direction. What do you want to do next? Really get clear on what the next step is going to look like for you. Okay? All right, now is your chance to look at one final question or card. Anything that I haven't yet covered, go ahead and put that out into the universe and let's see what comes through. Okay, Three of Swords in reverse. If you ask me a yes or no question, not yet. Three of Swords in reverse shows that there's just a little bit more healing that the heart needs to do. This is also asking you to get the perspective that we saw here. Look at it from the highest purpose or highest point of view. Step away if you need to. Move in a new direction if you need to. Sometimes we need to know what we don't want in order to embrace something wonderful when it comes through. So there could be just a momentary disappointment or a moment where you're like, well, that wasn't what I signed up for. But quickly after that, especially since we have this energy kicking everything off, I feel like you're going to land where you need to be. So don't compromise. Don't jump into something before you're ready. And know that it's okay for there to be a disappointment or a setback because it often lays the groundwork for clarity when something amazing happens. Take care of your heart. Take care of your health. And know that that is the bedrock upon which everything else can be built. All right, Libra. Thank you for a magical reading. I appreciate your patience in allowing me to be in a healthy mindset when I got this for you. I always want to make sure that I'm a clear channel. By the way, if you love this, please remember to subscribe, hit the like button, and leave a comment below. Let me know what resonated most and what your what your main focus is, how you're going to raise your frequency this month. A great way to keep in touch is to follow me on at least one other social media platform. You can basically find me at Nicholas Ashbaugh on all major platforms, and you can go to my website for more information or just my main channel page here. All of those official links are spelled out. Another way to show support is through super chats, super stickers, and memberships. Memberships actually are amazing because it's a sustaining way you can set it and forget it and basically just show some love and support. I know that not everybody is kind of dialed into the Google system, so if you want to also support me on PayPal, here's the link. And again, all of these can be found on my official website. With that being said, thank you so much for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. I know you have a lot of choices, and again, I appreciate your patience this month. Take very special care of yourself, and remember to check out all of the other types of readings that I do. I'm here every day for a daily reading between 1 to 3 minutes. I also have weekly readings every Sunday live stream, and I do special ones for retrograde and solar and lunar events. So like I said, if you haven't already done it, like and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon. Take care.